Hello and welcome to LanguageCraft for the 4th episode of Let's Timelapse. Now previously on Let's Timelapse we had a look at the terraforming of the whole region of the zone and the organization of the village, how all the buildings were going to be compared to one another. Then we had a look at the pattern of the buildings to create an identity. Here's the result. Now at the end of the last episode I said I would build a little bit alone. Just to advance the village because a lot of these houses are the same. Here are some of the houses that I built away from the camera. So 3 different houses, one wealthy one and 2 kind of average ones. A whole neighborhood that's almost finished now, and it looks really cool from the river. I'm pretty happy with that, and it's very important, especially so close to the castle. Here's the house that I wanted to do with you, because I said I would do all the houses that were normal, that were always the same away from you, because you don't need to see the same house built over and over and over again. But this one is a little bit special, so I wanted to show you what I did. It's not quite like the others because of the terrain. You can see that one side is normal. The one that you can see here in the front is just normal height, but on the other side it just barely comes up above the surface, and so it's kind of inlaid into the terrain. And here's how I do it. Well, actually, to be honest, I just did it like any other. The placement is very important though, how you put the posts and things, because you want to do it at a certain place where it makes sense and you actually have some places where you've got the full height of the level. You need to imagine where you're going to put every element of the house. For example, I can't have a door on the back side of the house. I can only have it in the front. And also you have to have 2 levels on a house like this, because if you only had one, then the roof would just come off of the ground. And it would be a ground level which would be fine for like Vikings or things like that, but definitely not on a style like this. And a door to the basement makes sense, especially since it's right next to the future castle access, so maybe you can make a story out of that. This then is going to be the main level. It's the living level, and it's very important to have a main door to the house, not only that small door to the basement. And I think it's probably the only house in the whole village that has a door that leads directly to this level. All the others have one that go to the kind of storage level, stone brick level, and then you have to go up into the actual living level. I really like the windows that stick out on this. It gives a little bit more space in a way, and it gives it more personality and relief. Relief, that word we talked about in the last episode. I'm still surprised that it's pronounced the same way as, being relieved, but there you go. I wasn't the only one to be surprised, so. On to the main course of the episode. Now you can see a lot of layouts for houses that I traced for future houses. Some of them I'm going to do with you. Most of them I'm probably going to do on my own in between episodes, 3 or 4 at a time. And today we're going to make the biggest house of all in a way, the inn. In a way it's just like any other building. It's the same materials, it's the same patterns, same kind of sizes and things. And I considered doing it later on because you've just had an episode on patterns. But this is a way to really insist on it, get it ingrained, and it's a little bit different, so. Anyway, I need to train on this, on changing my style around. One of my weaknesses is that once I find a pattern that I like, for a house for example, I always keep them on the same model when I'm happy with the style. It was the case, for example, if you've seen Irem of the Pillars, which was our very first team time-lapse. That one I found a house pattern that I liked, and we did it everywhere. I'm a sort of a maniac in that way, and I'm really obsessive. Everything has to be based on the same model. That's why I'm very bad at poor neighborhoods, for example. In our latest time-lapse, Terran Sill, someone else had to do the will have to be the architect for that area, just because I can't do all those blocks in the wrong places and cracked stones and a wall that's missing a block, things like that. Everything has to be perfect, and even in this village I will probably have to go change the poor houses to make them more different, because right now they're only slightly less wealthy. So we'll see the inside of this building next, but let's talk about the posts. Now you can see them from the top here, and you'll see me put them up for the second story in a second. There are 3 wide. One of them sticks out of the wall, one of them is inside the wall, and one of them sticks out inside, to create relief inside as well as outside. Now I had questions on how to do that, how to put detail and depth on the inside of a building. Well, one solution is to have those posts on the inside like this, here and there, like modules. Another possibility is to have a wall that is 3 wide, one central layer, and then a layer for detail on the inside and outside. I'd say why not, but I don't do it, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you really have a big inside space and it's very important. Now let's talk about nighttime for a second. Some of you complained about not being able to see during nighttime, and so that's why you see me putting as much glowstone and torches as possible. But I would rather leave this day-night cycle for several reasons. One of them is that it simply gives the video a good rhythm, and it feels more natural for those of us, true Minecrafters, which I think most of you are. You're used to having this, and so it would be strange to have just daytime in a video. Also, it enables you to get a good idea of how long it took me to make all this. You see the day-night cycle every time night and day passes, that's 20 minutes. So, these videos are about 10 times normal speed anyway. About the shape, you can see that it's an L. I think it's a really interesting shape, like a lot of buildings in real life were like that. And in front you can see that there's going to be a courtyard and 2 doors, because it's an inn and there's going to be a lot of passage, I think. Now here I destroyed the beginnings of the roof I had made. When I was preparing this episode, I decided I wanted to do 3 stories. And when I started the build, I completely forgot about it. And thankfully, when I realized I hadn't built much, so just between the shots I destroyed that, and now I'm starting the 3rd story. I decided, as you can see, to leave it at the same width. I just have a post sticking out, but that's it. The actual walls stay at the same level as the 2nd story. I could have done more, and a lot of real-life medieval houses did this. I think a lot of you would have liked me to do that as well. But I would rather leave it like this, because it just makes more sense and it gives it a kind of a different style. And after seeing the finished product, I think I'm really glad I did this. I'm glad I chose this because of the roof. The wider the house is, the higher the roof is going to be. And this roof is already huge, and going even higher would have been a bit ridiculous. I don't like roofs that are twice the height of a building. Other than that, you're going to see that the roof stays the same. Just keep in mind to keep that kind of rounded aspect. Don't do something that's straight if it's medieval. So you want to start at, with stairs, and then put 1 block and then a stair, another block and then a stair like I'm doing. That makes more sense. And when they're really tall, I know I even started out the shallower part of the roof with slabs. This is such a big roof that this would be a perfect place for dormers. Those windows that stick out from the roof, those will help those would help the small rooms that I've put under the roof. I was able to stick some underneath there, and they're in the attic, and they're really small, and they have no light, so that would be good. Anyway, keep in mind that we can always change some things in future episodes. Even if it's an episode on the church, for example, we can do 2 minutes on changing an old building and making it a little bit better. So yeah, regularly I think during the season I'm going to revisit buildings that I've already done. Alright, we're back to the front of the building, and this is going to face the market as soon as it's done. And that seems like an interesting placement because obviously it's going to be such an active place, such a heart of the village. Now I'm replacing everything with gravel because here are going to be stables. I think they're going to be pretty necessary to welcome all the horses of the inn's patrons. Now I had trouble. It's really hard to make that separation because I only had one block to play with, and so I couldn't use any stairs on one side or the other. It had to be pretty from both sides. And then I had a hard time with the roof because of that door on the right. If I put it in the wrong place, it would block the door, and so I had to settle with this, which in the end is not bad. I'm pretty pleased with that. It works out. And here we are. The stables are finished, and so is the inn. Now inside you can see yellow wool, not hay. This is for technical reasons because I'm working in 1.5 and not 1.6, and so I neither have hay nor hardened clay, which is too bad, but... And here's the inside. To give you an idea of how to put relief and depth on the inside, you can, for example, dig into the inside of walls with stairs. And this gives you an idea of what I'm doing inside the buildings. You can see the rooms. I'm building all the rooms. I'm just not furnishing them. That'll be for you to do, but it's important to have the structure in all the walls, even inside the house. And here we go, back to the first neighborhood, because I'm pretty sure this one is almost finished. Now I've got a little well here, and I've got trees here and there. It gives you an idea of really what it's going to be like to walk in little alleys of the village. Some things are going to change, like for example the trees are natural trees for the moment. In the future I'll probably import voxel sniper trees or custom trees, things like that, make it even better. And here is the scene for the next episode, the market. I wanted to do it this week, but eventually I decided I wanted to have buildings around the market first, because the market will not only be the stalls themselves, but also some shops around. And so I'm going to do a couple on my own and do a couple buildings with you to put the stalls in and put the shops in. Important to note as well to see how close the inn is to the future harbor, which is very important for sailors who will want to grab a drink. Anyway, here is the updated map for episode 4. Thank you all for watching. I think the village is really taking shape. I'm really liking, the look of it. And I'll see you very soon for episode 5. Bye bye.